Hi, I'm dumb, and this project took me half a year. No! No! Oh, it almost got... What the fuck? That was crazy. Oh no. Holy fuck. No way. It started on December 14th. Or, well, actually a few days before that, because that's when I created the Arduino file, but that's the only day I know. And because I know how long it takes me to make videos, I should probably date it. It's 2023 that we're talking about, not 2024. It is currently the 20th of June 2024, so just for reference, if it takes me another half a year to make this video, I'm so sorry. You might have also noticed that this was in fact like a week before 2.2 came out, which made this project slightly more difficult, because I quickly had to scramble to find a solution to whatever the fuck I was doing at the time, I don't know. Either way, I'd recently bought an Arduino and some components for it, and one of those components was a servo. And I had recently come across this video called The History of Hacking in Geometry Dash. I saw this brief clip of a person using a servo, and they used it to play Stereo Madness on their phone. And I found this incredibly cool, because, I mean, I don't know, it just seemed so interesting. And I immediately thought, well, I want to do something like that. So I got a servo, I found an old mouse lying around somewhere, and I got to work. Editing me will find out if there's actually an image of this or not, but it was a monstrosity. There was this really cheap looking mouse, and also just cheap mouse, and it had an obscene amount of duct tape on it. It was insane. With a servo and a servo horn, and if you don't know what that is, I didn't either. It's these things. So why that's called a horn, your guess is as good as mine. Then, on December the 14th, I created the Arduino project that I mentioned earlier, where I hard-coded the servo to make certain movements go up and down at specific points, by basically just making a list of instructions to make it play Stereo Madness. And this worked relatively well, up until about 12% when I got bored and just completely stopped. But I wasn't done. I remembered a project that I made a long time before that, and it was of a display, 128 by 64 monochrome display for the Arduino. And with this display, I made a little thing where you could show my current screen, the thing that's right in front of me, on that display. With Python, it takes a screenshot of my screen, it converts that to black and white, it makes it really small, and then through the USB port, it sends basically just a bunch of zeros or ones to the Arduino and displays them to the display. Now, while this might sound a bit unrelated, I realized that I could use this serial bus, which by the way is what the SB in USB stands for, as a communicator for the servos too. At this point it was just one, because it was the mouse button, and platformer didn't exist yet, so I didn't even think of that. What I ended up making at the time was a Python script that converted a mega hack replay to just a list of milliseconds of delay, and then used another Python script to send a 0 or a 1 through the serial bus to the Arduino after the amount of milliseconds specified in each item of that list. And if this all sounds like a lot of gobbledygook, maybe don't watch this video. I don't know, a lot of this might be terms that I think are normal, but really aren't. try watching it though, please. I'm spending a lot of effort in making this. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to a person who helped me with the Python side a bit. My best friend, Marty. He actually also helped on the display project that I previously mentioned. I do most of the coding usually, but he really has helped me in terms of just having a second opinion on the code I made. So, thank you. Then, a bit later, 2.2 hit, the community went fucking wild, but I was kind of annoyed because I still wanted to work on the project, right? And now I could no longer bot levels because my dumbass had no idea you could still boot up the original 2.1. For a long time, I kind of just gave up on it because I wanted to enjoy 2.2, and I also just had a lack of motivation for this project. And then Geode came out. Well, I didn't use it immediately. For a long time I still just kept using Geometry Dash normally. It started to reignite. I decided after a while that I wanted to teach myself Geode because it's not that hard of a mod to make in the end, and I felt like it. I don't know, I don't have a better explanation, sorry. So I grabbed my duct tape. It's been here for multiple months, and I got my scissors, got my server, got the Arduino, and got my old mouse ready. And eventually, I got a pretty simple Geode mod working. Hi, very sudden scene change, do not mind that. This original mod actually read from a single file that contained whatever level I was botting. So that meant that if I wanted to play Bloodbath, I could not later go to, say, Keynos and play that without running the Python script again with a different file. I honestly didn't expect the video becoming this long. I checked the timeline just now because I'm editing this as I'm recording stuff, and it's over 6 minutes. I'm sorry. So I'm just gonna rapid fire some updates. The first major update I made was after a while I decided to check for the level name and then use that level name as the file name. So I could run the Python script on Bloodbath and Keynos and switch between the levels without constantly having to rerun the Python file. This was really helpful because I could just go to any level I wanted to show people and immediately play it. A few months later, after another hiatus, I got a 3D printer and a SEO device, which I actually got specifically for this project. Here's a prototype of the case that I still have. So the servos go through this, and also there's screw holes. While it's probably the thing that looks most complicated in all of this, it took like a day or two. It actually probably took longer to print than it took to design it. Eventually I also decided to change from milliseconds of delay to frames, because this is just more intuitive if you're looking at it. So it just looks like a bunch of frame delays with also the button that it presses, because there's now 3 servos. By the way, if you want to check any of this out, this is all on my GitHub page. Please check it out. It took me 6 months. I said this before. Jesus Christ, I should not have spent this much time on it. Thank you to the currently, I think, 6 subscribers that waited for an actual quality video. Because it's taken a few months, hasn't it? So please consider subscribing. Yeah, I'm doing that now. Join me in another 2 years when I make a shitty CPU from scratch. And yeah, I think that's about it. By the way, if you want to know what my next project is,